We're at the first intermission in both Montreal, Toronto. To the point tonight, we're going to focus a little bit on Vancouver and Montreal. And the storyline is Montreal, 2 years ago, they're in the Stanley Cup. The Trident is gone.
Gonzo.
That's right. And that's amazing. And Carey Price is out of there. And all of a sudden, they have a 500 record and looking great again tonight. Vancouver, on the other hand, you look at Montreal, gets Kirby Dach for a first-round pick after the Romanov trade, Toffoli for a first-round pick. So they've managed to turn it right around. And Vancouver, with this strong young core, seems stuck. And that's why so many people are getting into this Bruce Boudreau and Jimmy Rutherford saga. So let's hear from Jimmy.
We didn't have a very good camp, and it's carried over into the season. When you're losing, you find ways to lose, and that's what we're doing.
In order for us to become a better team, we have to play with a stronger system and really be more accountable for some of the things that some of the players are struggling with. Our priority is to keep Bo. I hope we can sign him. If we can't sign him, the better we play, the better return we're going to get for him. But ideally, we can figure out a way to keep Bo in Vancouver.
Jen, why don't we start with you?
Well, perhaps an unconventional approach that we haven't seen from hockey operations in terms of how vocal Rutherford has been and some of the specifics of some of his comments. But I also feel like here's a guy with a ton of experience in management, in hockey operations. And so for him, I feel like the frustration has been building, even if it's over a small amount of time. And if you're in that situation, are you going to remain silent? Or for him, is it sharing some of his perspective and to be vocal with the hopes that this is going to make some subtle change or influence your organization, whether it's the players, whether it's the coaching staff, to make some of these changes that he'd like to see, as opposed to just staying there and remaining silent and frustrated with how the process is going?
Well, and you think of his previous coach was Mike Sullivan, so a very structured guy. So he has that history. So when he comes to Vancouver, he's sort of hoping Bruce is that same kind of coach. Now, I have a tough time with this conversation, to be honest. Full disclosure, I've known Bruce since 1982, and I consider him a friend. And so when I hear his boss say these things and be so critical, I feel definitely for Bruce more so than I do about the hockey thing. Now, having said that, the goaltender can cover up a lot of things. You talked about Montreal. Well, they're getting pretty decent goaltender. Demko has not been good. Kev, you and I just talked about it away from camera, that he knows it. He's trying hard. He knows that he's part of the problem right now. And I know Jim also said last year that
you think too hard, though, Kelly. Just to be clear on that, you think Demko's working so hard at it. That
I do.
Yeah.
It was interesting in some of the articles I read recently. One of the things he said is be kinder to himself. And I'm thinking, well, that makes tons of sense because he feels the pressure. He's the #1 goalie, and the general manager or the president is calling out the coach. Demko takes that personally, and so that's making it even worse.
And for some players and goaltenders, right, how much time you're at the rink, it's a fine line in terms of being at your best or how much is too much. So it's finding that balance as well.
The thing that's most interesting to me is you've got a lame duck coach now. Rutherford made it clear to Scott. He thought that Boudreau was just there for last year. Yeah. He takes the job after Boudreau, assuming Boudreau's going to be gone at the end of the season. Then he honors the 1 year that's additional. Yeah. And he's got a lame duck captain. How can you have your two core leaders?
So going back to that point with Kelly, Luongo was very similar. When things weren't going good, ultra competitive and would just work to the point of diminishing returns. So that's kind of what we're saying with Demko right now. But Luongo would overcome it somehow. He had Ian Clark for a long time. He would pull him back when he thought it was too much. Vancouver media demands the truth. So if you're Jim Rutherford and you're doing interviews, they're not going to let you, beat around the bush. So much like a coach would like to call out a player in the media when he's not performing, this is what we have now. We have, management calling out the coaching, and not just Bruce, but I think that's the whole coaching staff. So it's another level of accountability. It's unconventional. We don't see it very often. Do we have to overreact about it? I don't know, because we don't overreact now when a player or a coach calls out a player. So now it's the same thing, I think.
Maybe you could just, people can also appreciate it. He's honest, right? I feel like he's going to be direct in terms of what he expects from players, from staff, and this is his way of sharing that and communicating that with people.
So back to Bo, your other question. There's a lot going on here, Ron. So,
there is.
Right? Like, I got Bo on my socks tonight in support. And, like, my best year, I think, was the 1 year where I didn't have a contract going in and there was no talks Like, Bo's at least in talks, or I don't know if they've stalled, but I had no talks, and you play pissed off. And you play a little bit of a feeling of unwanted, and it ended up being my best year. Bo's proven the same thing. Whether or not he feels wanted or not, I don't know. He's having his best year. He's playing with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, a little bit of an edge. He's getting all these great goals on the power play. He's got 5 goals in the power play. He's contributing every night. And a team that's struggling at times to win games, he's still their stalwart. He's still performing.
But I think certainly a huge credit to him for being able to perform under those circumstances. For him, perhaps there is an individual sort of, opportunity for him for a big contract ahead, but some players can't rise to that occasion. We're seeing this year O'Reilly's struggling big time in St. Louis. So for Horvat to be able to manage that and not let that be a deterrent and just let that be that motivational tool that he needs.
I am smiling just because it's a different time. When I played, I think I had 6 different contracts, and every one expired before I signed a new deal.
All league men's, right?
Everyone was, they never wanted me back.
We've seen it. Your point about Vancouver demands answers. The fan base wants them. So I'll give you the honesty, but I do think it undercuts Bruce, and I do think it makes the players question things that Bruce is doing, wondering if they are playing with structure. When you see Bo playing well, you think, gosh, we're going to lose him. You had Cody Hodgson. You just got him going. They showcased Hodgson, gave him power play time, a young prospect, and then bang.
Yeah. And then he's gonzo. And then you get the next project coming in, and you try to work with him.
Cassian, and
that's the way it goes, right?
All right, to be continued. It was a really nice touch. Sheldon Keefe down in the game, but on top of his game at the very start with the 6 Swedes to honor Borje Salming, just a really special touch. Thomas Gradin, Vancouver Canuck, was the guy that tipped off Brian Burke to the idea of going over to Sweden and getting Henrik and Daniel. But there's the guy that started it all. They created the Viking Trophy for best Swede in North America after Borje came to Canada. Gradin won it in '82. The Sedins have both won it. Matt Sundin 4 times. Marcus Naslund, your buddy Kevin, won it 3 times.
All those guys are my buddies. I love them all.
We'll be back.